Hello, welcome to the Real Internet Come Forth Meet the Author Session Live. My name is Antoinette Smith and I'm your author. Remember to get your books, get your books, get your books. People, some of them are on sale at Barnes& Noble, Amazon, Google, Apple iTunes, Walmart.com, Target.com, Books A Million, Kobo, Indigo, and Tails. All of them come in paperback and digital version. Get your copies today. We are reading from the Real Internet Come Forth book series, value 1, 2, and 3. We are currently on value number 1, titled The Darkness Begins, and we are talking about molestation. This is the last reading of this book, and next week we will be in value number 2. Okay, so chapter 7 is titled Time to Grow Up. I'm 11 years old and in the 5th grade, and I'm still writing the school newspaper, and I'm also in majorette now. I tried out for track, but when I saw my friend jump over the hurdles and hit her private, that was my one and only try. Nope, I'm not going to hurt myself. So stick to marching in the band. My brother Andre and I are in all kinds of activities. He plays the trombone and runs track, and he plays basketball too. So I would be there all the time for his events when they were home. Wait a minute. So I would be at all his events when they were home. I was about to start taking score for the basketball once I was trained. Then I would go on out of town games. I was still in Awana, and at church I prayed more now and knew tons of scriptures. I had won several awards for saying the most scriptures in our group, second and third place, and I never was first. And I remember first prize once. I started my administration today, and I didn't know what it was. I was climbing a tree in front of our yard when my mother saw blood on my shorts and said, "Go check yourself." I'm like, "Check myself?" She said, "Your underclothes." I went to the bathroom and there was blood in my panties. I ran into my mom's room and told her. She said, "I know, here I come. Come get in the tub and bathe." So she brought me some panties and clothes. After I got dressed, she took me into her room and said, "You know why you're bleeding?" I said, "No, why?" She said, "You're becoming a young lady now, and you can't mess around with boys, you will get pregnant." I said, "What?" She said, "Yes, you will have a baby if you mess with boys." I said, "Okay," and went to my room and laid down confused. Now I know that all of you are saying, what would have been the perfect time to tell my mom about all the boys that had molested you? But it was never a good time to tell that secret to my mother or my father unless I wanted to be an orphan. Which I didn't. So I continued to pray, cry, write, wet the bed, and fight off anyone that tried to take my virginity and make me perform oral sex. I was in the principal's office 2 to 3 times a week for a fighting. Now I never started the fights, but I would finish them. If I heard about someone bullying someone, I would go to the bully and say, "Pick on me. Pick on someone like me. Pick on Pick on me like you do such and such," whomever they were bullying. And I started fighting them. And of course, I got caught, never the bully. I and my cousins were having an argument at somewhere and came and told me or told someone to tell me they was picking on them. I would go to the person and just start fighting them. I didn't ask any questions, never. I would just fight because I hated to see children scared and picked on or to be mistreated. And I'm still that way today because I have been taken advantage of as a child. I set my aim to protect all that cross my path because wait a minute. I protect all that crossed my path because it was my God given duty. My mother was furious and tired of coming up to the school because I was fighting. She saw all the teachers and the principals, so she gave them all permission to paddle me if I was caught in a fight. It didn't matter to me. I still fought for months and got expelled several times that year. Mother Mother just gave up. She got tired of beating me and talking to me. My oldest brother was getting out of control, not coming home and skipping school. My father had slacked up on getting me on the weekends because he was now in a new relationship with my mother's sister. Yes, that's right. My aunt and my father are dating. Well, living together. Didn't bother me. I loved my aunt, but I hated my father's wife and was glad he got rid of her. My stepfather was now remarried too. We would go to his house on most weekends because my mom would drop us off at their house, didn't ask any questions or anything. My mother was drinking a lot these days and didn't get home until 10 or 11 at night, so we were on our own until then. But don't get involved. Don't get it twisted. My mother had rules for her house. Well, for me, the only girl, I had better not go to bed without cleaning the house, the kitchen, putting up away my brother's clothes and all. And when she got home, I had to get up and feed her whatever she wanted. I usually had to cook her a meal because she wanted fresh, hot food, not warmed up leftovers. My mother was still in a abusive relationship with a married man, and both of them drank. My stepfather, we were not seeing much of him these days. When my father had a bad motorcycle accident in Kankakee, Illinois, my uncle came to get me from school, and I was nervous when I saw him in the office. He grabbed me and hugged me and said, "I came to get you." I was walking and asking, "What's wrong?" He said, "Your father was in an accident. He's in the hospital, and they want you there." I immediately started crying because my father is my world. I mean, my world. I would be lost without him. So I cried and prayed the entire way to the hospital, which was about 25 minutes. We got to the hospital and my entire family was there. My mom's side, my brothers, my sisters from my father. When I arrived, I was the last one to see my father. His head was wrapped with white cloth like a mummy. I ran up to his bedside and said, "Are you okay?" He said, "Yeah, baby, I'm okay." I sat there and he was going to sleep. I said, "Are you coming home? I'll take care of you." He said, "I'll be home in a couple of days." Well, when my father returned home, not only did he have an accident, he also found out that he was diabetic. He had to take insulin shots for the rest of his life. Now, all of this was new to my daddy and the accident because he had had a head injury and now sickness in his body. And some illnesses, my grandmother died when she was 75 years old. So everything changed. He started prepping me to live without him. He started teaching me to drive more and talking about me with him and started taking me with him on his business run, showing me the ropes. He said, "Always pay attention where you go from now on. Now, no more sleeping in the car. I might need you to drive. Pay attention to everyone around you. Don't trust anybody," he said. "Promise me you're going to finish school and go to college. You are different from all of my children. You are the late in life baby, change of life baby. I don't know what kind of husband you will get, but I want to make sure that you're able to take care of yourself. Your brothers will always help and protect you while they are here." I said, "I promise I will finish school." He said, "I don't care what happens. You finish school and make a life for yourself." And I'm going to end the chapter right there. Remember to get your books, get your books, get your books, people. We are reading from the Real Internet Come Forth. Value number 1, 2, and 3. We are currently in value number 1. The Darkness Begins, and we were talking about molestation. So this is the last reading of this book. Next week we will be in value number 2, titled "The Death of a Girl from Childhood to Motherhood." Thank you, and remember, until we meet again, God gets the glory, and I tell the story. Goodbye.